California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse.
Greg Gutfeld just lit up Gavin Newsom's political persona with a flamethrower of sarcasm and scorn, leaving behind nothing but scorched talking points and that signature slicked-back hair. In a no-holds-barred takedown, Gutfeld shredded new hypocrisy, ridiculed his policies, and left the California governor looking stunned like a deer caught in the harsh glare of a primetime spotlight. This wasn't a roast it, was a televised demolition job. Gutfeld didn't hold back, and Newsom never saw it coming. Buckle up, this was Gutfeld, Unfiltered.
So Newsom is fed up with tent cities, the crime, the urban decay? No, he's not mad about that stuff. He's mad you noticed. It's like a criminal telling a jury he's sorry he robbed 25 banks when he's just sorry he got caught on the 26th. Because this isn't some spontaneous crisis. It's a man-made disaster like Chernobyl or Fox and Friends.
It started like any other night, on Gutfeld's stage spotlight's glaring signature. Mug in hand, and that trademark smirk, ready for action. But tonight had a different energy. This wasn't just another round of playful jabs or laid-back sarcasm. Gutfeld was locked in. His sights were set on California's golden boy of glam. Politics Gavin Newsom. The governor with hair so flawless it could run for office on its own. The guy who approaches every press conference like he's walking a designer runway. This time, Gutfeld came to dismantle, not just mock.
Took common sense as his high ground. Right. There's no place outside of it.
That's right.
And so they're stuck in this horrible, horrible place, much like you, Jamie, in your life. As California falls apart, it must remind you somewhat of your own personal life.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at footage of California and I go, oh.
If you're enjoying this take, don't forget to subscribe. Gavin Newsom may look like a walking ad for progressive perfection, but he's trailed by a mountain of messes like unpaid parking tickets, piling up and ignored. Gutfeld wasn't just here to list them. He came in swinging, unleashing the fury of a comedian who's done pretending it's all a joke. He tore into Newsom's carefully crafted image like it was a tired Hollywood script overacted, phony, and in desperate need of a rewrite. For years, Newsom has coasted on his golden boy status with the left butt. Gutfeld made it clear. The shine is wearing off.
Why do I keep bringing up Gavin? Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it. That people actually came.
He smiles like a toothpaste commercial, throws out buzzwords like a TED Talk on repeat, and walks like he personally invented California. But while he paraded through press conferences and rubbed elbows with the elite, the real state was falling apart just beyond the gates of the governor's mansion. Gutfeld wasn't playing along anymore. No warm-up, no soft landing, just a straight-up blitz of truth, aimed directly at Newsom's overinflated ego.
With authoritarianism, you get chaos and destruction. So if restoring order is evil, then the Dems are now the party of disorder. Turns out the only system they had was wokeism, and it rotted any basic principles the party had to begin with. Which is why, like Gavin himself, they're left looking at 2028's hopes going up in flames. And this time, no one is going to help them put it out.
Order enforced through authoritarianism leads to chaos, not stability. And if restoring order is now considered evil, then the Democrats have fully embraced being the party of disorder. The only real system they've clung to is wokeism, and it's corroded whatever foundational principles the party once had. That's why, like Gavin Newsom himself, they're watching their 2028 ambitions go up in smoke, and this time, no one's rushing in to douse the flames. Gutfeld wasted no time peeling back the glossy veneer to expose the rot beneath California's surface. The state Newsom hails as a beacon of progress is crumbling, its streets transformed into sprawling open-air encampments. Tent cities stretch 4 blocks, while taxes soar so high even Elon Musk packed up and bolted for Texas. Crime is out of control. Smash-and-grab sprees have turned retail shops into crime scene dioramas, and carjackings now feel as routine as calling an Uber. And through it all, Newsom remains unfazed aloof, polished and blind to the chaos unraveling under his watch.
His track record, his performance as mayor, as lieutenant governor, and governor. And your analogies are great. I think mine are better. And just hold on. And here's why. He shows up at the fires and says, who the hell caused this? I'm going to crack down on the people responsible. He sees the homeless encampments blocking the sidewalks and said, you guys clean that up. He started it. He spent $3 billion to fix it. And his opening words in 2020 when he got the job is a disgrace. The richest state in the country and the richest nation of the world has a homeless problem. I will fix it. He spends $1 billion. When it's not fixed, he blames the mayors. And he also forced the movie industry and Silicon Valley out of the best state in the country by high taxes. I've never seen someone such a bad performance, but yet I think he's the front runner to get the nomination for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They got nobody else. Sherrod, welcome back.
Somehow, in the middle of his own mess, Newsom still finds time to lecture other states on morality and governance. That's when Gutfeld really turned up the heat. This wasn't just hypocrisy, was political theater, and Newsom was the overpaid lead, forgetting his lines. Gutfeld painted the picture with brutal clarity. A governor scolding Florida for banning books while kids in his own state struggle to read, and slamming Texas over abortion laws, while California's streets are flooded with fentanyl and lined with people society left behind. Gutfeld delivered it all with sarcasm so sharp it might as well have drawn blood.
Last week, Newsom said he hopes the conservative Supreme Court will overturn the current law that bans his state from removing out-of-control homeless encampments. Imagine that. Well, what did you expect, Gavin? That the sanctuary seekers were going to show up in Winnebagos? Once again, another example of a high-profile lib using his big mouth to write a check his ass can't cash. Last year, after the Texas Governor Abbott ordered that parents of transitioning children should face criminal investigation, Newsom then tweeted this: trans kids and their families should be celebrated, not targeted by the state. They are heroes. And so to fearful families in Texas right now, California's door is always open.
Just last week, Newsom said he hoped the conservative Supreme Court would overturn the law, preventing him from clearing homeless encampments. Let that sink in. Really, Gavin? Did you think they were rolling in with RVs and gift cards? It's peak liberal logic writing checks their own policies can't cash. And then there was last year, when Texas moved to investigate parents of transitioning children. Newsom fired back on Twitter, calling trans kids heroes and inviting Texans to come to California. It made for a great headline. Of course, you actually live in California, where soaring costs, collapsing services, and street-level crises tell a very different story.
About Gavin Newsom, what's going on there?
I don't know how they bump out Kamala to be put a white male in there and take her out. She's got too much of an ego to just step aside. Mm-hmm. She's going to go crazy if they try to do that.
Plus, she had a strong 2% support, so don't forget that.
Yeah, but she's waiting for that spot to just open for her, and then you put a white male in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to. I mean, they did it to Bernie. They threw him under the bus two, presidential ones in a row. They just gave him a couple extra houses in Vermont. Go, yeah, you got some extra money. But I don't know how they could do it with her.
Yeah, it'd be great if they threw her under the bus, because she really likes buses, remember?
With a sly grin, Gutfeld laid it bare. California's middle class is disappearing faster than hand sanitizer during a pandemic. Small businesses are folding. while the elite in Hollywood and Silicon Valley sip champagne behind their gated estates. Through it all, Governor Newsom keeps smiling, as if the state's struggles are just more B-roll for his next campaign ad. But Gutfeld wasn't just cracking jokes, he was striking a nerve. Californians aren't leaving for greener pastures. They're escaping. Businesses aren't relocating to boost profits. They're fleeing crushing taxes. Even those who once proudly called the state home are now left wondering, how did it come to this?
To sell maps of celebrity homes, not landmines. Now, instead of sightseeing, tourists play hopscotch so their shoes don't get hepatitis. And when residents complain, they're called cruel. And now we're supposed to believe Gavin? Hell no. All the problems of the last decade were based on his and his party's lies.
Gutfeld never skipped a beat. He called out the man in charge with laser focus. It was like watching a magician's trick unravel before your eyes. The story of economic growth fell apart, and the climate promises were revealed as empty gestures wrapped in a glossy green facade. Compassion only appeared when the cameras were rolling. Just when you thought Gutfeld was done, he delivered the knockout line. California is like a mansion with gleaming windows and manicured lawns. But behind the walls, the wood is rotting, the roof is leaking, and the foundation is crumbling. Hollow dream propped up by empty slogans.